Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming to you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I don't do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Puriworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. It's the coast with the most from the co-host with the most. Here on the Rundown, two-way views, conservative news. And Craig, guess what day it is?
Uh-oh. Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
That's right, folks. Today's hump day. Now, this is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend, sometimes with success and sometimes not. But as I always like to say, the fun is all in the trying.
Give it a shot, baby. Get it started if you can.
We will give it a shot. See, it all largely depends on, for me, what do I have in the cup? That's how you know how successful I am. If it's just water or soda or coffee or Kool-Aid, then you know the weekend has not started yet.
Yeah, mine's the same. People are like, how come you've been holding that can of Monster White for 3 days? I don't know.
Who knew? I'm going to guess the monster has turned.
Yeah. Look, you can refill them right through the hole in the top. See there?
Right through the hole in the top. Exactly. So I'm kind of cheating. I'm kind of doing kind of a double thing today. So I figured I needed a little bit more caffeine to get through the afternoon, but at the same time, I did want to try and begin the weekend. So I'm going with more of instead of just a regular Irish coffee, I'm going more with an Irish iced coffee.
Irish iced coffee. Okay. I have Irish coffee, but it's all Irish and no coffee usually when I do it. Listen, nothing beats whiskey in a coffee cup. People will leave you alone. They have no idea.
I have no idea what it is about that, but there's just something that is very, very, especially if it's like one of the like tin cups, not even like the ceramic. It's gotta be the tin cup.
Yep. Just sip it slowly. I did start the day off with 5 shots of Cuban coffee. So I'll be up till next week.
Wow. Okay. That's kind of dangerous, man. 5 shots of Cuban coffee.
I can see the future right now.
Man, I'm not going to tell you, man, the first time I had Cuban coffee, I was like, this little itty bitty. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah.
So I had it today.
It ain't no joke.
I drank it all and I set it down. I was like, bathroom.
Yeah. It's like speed. It's like
it's
like mainlining speed. It really is. It is no joke, but it serves its purpose. It's what you drink coffee for.
I had a friend of mine who I'm attorney Kevin Maxwell. The first time he'd had Cuban coffee, we were over in Tampa, and he had 2 shots of it, and he said he was halfway home before he realized he'd left his car in Tampa.
He was halfway home before he realized he left his car.
Yeah, he just started running towards home. He just
oh wow,
he had that kind of Cuban coffee energy going on.
Wow. Well, Cuban coffee will in fact do that for you.
Yep.
Anyway, well, let's go ahead and get into today's news and start it off with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep. Let's say hi to our good friends at Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Get on over there, get you some AR barrels. They got rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. If you want the best in concealed tactical holsters on the market, get on over to hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. That's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get a nice little discount. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, whatever it may be, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com, where you get everything except the gun.
Also want to encourage you, please sign up for the 2A newsletter. Get your Second Amendment news delivered directly to your email box. Just hit the subscribe button right there, and you will be subscribed. All you got to do is put in your email address, and you will be subscribed. Except one other thing. You're going to get a confirmation email. I see a bunch of you have signed up and did not respond to the confirmation email, and I'm getting emails from some of you saying, why am I not getting my newsletter? Because you got to confirm. We want to make sure. I don't want anybody on the list who don't want to be on the list, right? So do us a favor. Do yourself a favor. Do us a favor. Do them a favor. Subscribe and make sure you confirm.
That's because most of us don't put our real email address in those things. So,
well, There you go. Well, then how are you going to get the newsletter if you don't put your real email address there?
They didn't think it through. I just said that's what they do.
Okay, well, there you go. What he's basically saying is a lot of us don't think.
Correct. No think. It's no think
I really
Wednesday.
want that to be wrong, but it's not.
Yeah, come on, listen. Anytime somebody says, "Oh, listen, you want to sign up to buy an item," and it says, "Enter your email here for discount code," you don't put your real email address in there,
Right.
so you're just conditioned not to put your real email address in it. They're forgotten at that point that they're trying to get a newsletter.
Well, exactly. So how many of y'all out there have a Gmail or a Hotmail or, God forbid, an AOL email address that you're like, yeah, it's like it's like a throwaway.
I've got a Yahoo mail still, and I found out recently it changed to ymail.com, and I didn't even know that.
They probably Yahoo's losing money. They probably can't afford those extra letters.
Yeah. Oh, hey, did you see today that the Las Vegas Athletics, the LVAs, right?
Currently the Sacramento Athletics, but soon to be the Las Vegas Athletics.
Correct. So they went to start doing doing all their merch, right?
Right.
And found out somebody went and registered that name already. So they've already trademarked Las Vegas Athletics and Vegas Athletics. And now the Athletics have to go out and buy this guy out for the name because they never thought to do that.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how the A's do business, man. I mean, think about this. They have one of the most successful farm programs for the rest of Major League Baseball. I mean, the players that have come, it kind of reminds me of Sacramento, like in the NBA. It's like, the A's is a good team to be from.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple teams out there like that. The A's, the Rays, Baltimore, the Marlins, and the rest of baseball calls them 4A teams because they're at that level where they're in the majors, but they're just providing everybody else talent.
Well, and so much of it just comes down to the fact that they just bad business decisions. They don't want to spend money. They're still trying that Billy Ball crap, and it ain't working, folks. Look, you got to spend some money. I know I hate to use the Dodgers as an example, but you got them. You got the Yankees when they were putting out money. I mean, I hate to say it, got to spend some cash.
The good news with baseball, unlike with football, is that yes, you're absolutely right. There are minor market teams that get nowhere, but if you look at the parity in baseball, there hasn't been a back-to-back World Series champ in over 20 years. So they've got the parity thing down, not counting the COVID season. Let's say that.
There you go. So you don't think Dodgers are going to do it again?
I think they might do it again, and they'll definitely be in the hunt. But the problem with baseball is it's not who's the best team; it's who's hot at that moment.
Well,
that's what happens when you put 8 wild cards in there. It's not who's the best team that gets to the World Series; it's who's hot in September.
Well, now that happens in football because in the NFL because of the one and done nature of their playoffs. Basketball it's a little bit harder. You generally tend to have a much better chance of the best team rising to the top in the NBA.
Well, unfortunately, with the wild card in baseball, again, it takes away from the best team getting to the World Series. And like I said, you get hot in September, August, September. It really comes down to the rule that hitting may win games, but pitching wins championships. And if you get 2 hot pitchers as you roll into the wild card, you could go all the way to the World Series.
I'll tell you this. So the interesting thing about baseball to me isn't so much even the game itself. It's the strategy behind what is your lineup going to look like? What pitchers you're going to play when. The pregame and the strategy even before the game starts is part of the most interesting thing in baseball to me.
It is. I think the managers there have the long-term planning that they can affect that. Whereas in NFL, obviously the coach has got to call the right play. I think in hockey, NBA, and even in the soccer and football, it's more like go score, go score.
Go
You know,
score.
yeah, yeah.
We'll
There's
worry
a lot-
about defense later.
yeah. There's a lot less on-field, involvement from the managers and the coaches there than there is with football and baseball.
Yeah, true that, true that. All right, getting into today's news, talk about planning. Now, CNN asked this question, and it was funny that CNN asked this question because I was wondering the same exact, not wondering, I noticed the same exact thing. I noticed how much lately President Trump is talking about communism, right? How he's really coming out and like really pointing out, look, we've got a real major issue with communism and communists attempting to take over our country. Here's a few words that he had to say over the weekend.
Yet as we approach this magnificent anniversary, we see our American identity under a renewed attack. A generation after we fought and won the Cold War against the menace of communism, there is now a resurgence of the communist menace in our land, including from newcomers to our country who embrace ideas totally opposed to our way of life and our great success. These are not mere political disagreements like differences over taxes or regulations. Communism is a mortal threat to American liberty. We can only lose the midterms if we allow ourselves to lose the midterms, if we are foolish, stupid, and unwise. But if we terminate the filibuster, as we should do, and immediately vote for the Save America Act, then we will not lose an election.
Okay, well, we could. I'm not going to get into talking about eliminating the filibuster because I think it's a bad idea. I think it's very short-sighted. But that having been said, he's not wrong about the fact that there are tons of people who are getting elected who really hate America and are leaning on a real communist agenda. Now, it is kind of funny that it's way down in this piece where he finally gets to the point where why are people doing this? Well, it says here, Trump is deploying the communist label against an ascent group of Democratic candidates and politicians who only go as far leftward as calling themselves democratic socialists. But when the president warns of communism, he isn't talking about the particulars of the candidates' political ideologies, says Aaron Surratt, the professor of jurisprudence and political science at Amherst College. Rather, Surratt says Trump is using the term as shorthand for un-American. Now, here's what I want to point out. Now, this guy right here is the head of the Democratic Socialists of America. And I need you guys to know and understand this. The Democratic Socialists of America are attempting to take over the Democratic Party. That's what Mamdani is. That's what Graham Plattner is. That's what a lot of these candidates who are challenging Democrat incumbents are. They're members of the Democratic Socialists of America. They are socialists. They are not just socialists, but their party is based on, and their goal is communism. In fact, here's the head of DSA making that very clear.
I mean, our goal is liberation. Our goal is communism.
My name is David Jenkins. I'm a lifelong New Yorker, and today I am again calling on the City Council to disband the NYPD's brutal, unnecessary strategic response group and directly divert its funding to any of the public services fellow New Yorkers have called for today.
I'm planning to run for the MPC at convention under the banner of the Libertarian Socialist Caucus. We're a diverse body of libertarian socialists, libertarian Marxists, anarchists, left communists, and other schools of thought within the sort of left wing of socialist movement. I joined DSA in 2020 and found a home in the Racial Justice Working Group and the Defund NYPD campaign before getting heavily involved in tenant organizing, Red Rabbits, and
that gives you an idea of who these folks are. Their goal is communism. So calling themselves democratic socialists is literally just a smokescreen. It's a smokescreen. Their goal is to, and Mike, what do we know about the goal of communists and communism?
Oh, so we have the elite class and everybody else is the worker bee, and it's you have the super rich or the super well off, affluent, and then you have the poverty level, which you keep them there to continue to fund your extravagance. And Craig, you're exactly right. That's exactly what Democrat socialist is in. It's just the code word for socialist. And by the way, the goal of socialism is communism, you know? And so that's where the president's coming in. He's combating this Democrat socialist movement by talking about communism.
Right. In its purest form, communism is everybody owns everything. The problem is you can't have a model that functions like that. So socialism is the government owns the means of production, right? Well, the government has got to be controlled by somebody, and those somebodies generally tend to favor themselves and their friends. They also tend to favor those who are willing to put the goals of the government ahead of anything else, right? When I say ahead of anything else, I really mean ahead of anyone else, except them, of course, because since they are the government, their desires and their wills take precedent. And what they are willing to do is to utilize the power of government to compel people to comply, because they know, because it generally works against people's self-interest, they know that there are certain people, a lot of people, who have to be forcibly compelled to comply. Yeah. And that's how you get the Lenins, that's how you get the Maos, that's how you get the Fidel Castros, that's how you wind up with over 100 million people dead.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, communism, it doesn't work, no matter what form it's in. Theoretical, you listen, how many times you have to hear the example of the kids coming to class and the professor saying, we're going to share grades, right? We're just going to go at the average. Well, those that are making A's soon stop doing the work because everybody's going to pass. Why do they have to do the work? It's, you know, Craig, if I sweep floors and you're a brain surgeon, but we both have the same car and we both have the same house, well, why do I want to be a brain surgeon anymore? I'm just going to sit back and sweep floors and make the same thing you do. Well, guess what? Now we got nobody earning, right?
We got no money. We have no brain surgeons.
Yeah,
we have nobody inventing things.
Correct.
Right? We have nobody building anything. We don't have any place to live because nobody wants to put in the work to build a place to live. It's the thing about the difference between free market economies, and I prefer to use the term free market as opposed to capitalism because, you know, Karl Marx is the one who invented the word capitalism. But a free market, the thing about a free market economy is that it governs the world based on how it is, right? In that we have a self-interest. And the thing about a free market economy is that if I have something, if I can create something, a service or a product that you value, you're going to reward me for providing that, right? Yeah. You're going to give me something that I want, right? And so we have this incentive to meet each other's needs. And as a result, I realize the more I meet people's needs, the more stuff I get, the more of my needs get met, right? That's how it works. And that's why it works. Because if I provide something that nobody wants or doesn't meet anybody's needs, guess what? Nobody buys it. Nobody buys it. I either need to, it goes away because, well, you know, no one wants it.
Yeah, it's so true. It's just, you know, why would I work so hard for something when I'm going to get the same reward as the people on welfare? Or why are they going to work hard, you know, when all they have to do is sit there and do something? It's Craig. It's why we have signs that say, don't feed the animals, right? Because if you start feeding the animals, all they start doing is showing up and eating the food, and they don't do anything else.
And they will starve to death if no one is providing them food.
That's right.
Once again, it is, what you want to call it animal nature, you want to call it human nature. It works with human nature. And it's very frustrating when I see people not understand that. And here's the thing, and I'll just, you know, I'll also say this. There's a reason why people wind up oftentimes financially in the situations that they do. And I'm not saying that some people don't suffer bad luck. I'm not saying some people don't have or just fall on hard times. But overwhelmingly, where you are now, especially when you get to be our age, is the sum total of the decisions that you've made in your life.
Yeah,
I can look and see why I am where I am financially, and you know, I'm okay with most of the decisions that I've made that have me here. There's some things I look back on, I'm just like, man, if I had done that differently, all right, maybe if I had taken more of a chance over here, or maybe if I bothered to get a little bit more of a education or training over here, I might be further along. But overall, I'm like, I am where I chose to be. Maybe I didn't choose it all in one fell swoop, but that's where I am. You know.
Yep.
If you're 50 years old and you are working for minimum wage at McDonald's, I hate to say this, where you are is a sum total of the decisions you made that put you there. You must have made a lot of bad decisions.
Well, I'll just fight to get minimum wage raised to $40 an hour. That's all.
Well, there you go. And that's exactly what it is that they try to do. They want to change the world because, for them, they want, and that's the thing. When you do that, you're working against the values that made America what it is, right? Individual rights, individual responsibility, right? Those are the things that make America what it is. This whole collective, well, you know what? We all gotta, don't get me wrong. I believe in helping other people. I believe in being generous and generosity. I believe the concept of sowing and reaping. But here's the deal. Ultimately, I can't depend on charity. I got to depend on me, right? I depend on me and I help society. I help my neighbor, right? But my neighbor can't depend on me. My neighbor has to help themselves. And, and I'll be there in the event that they fall, right? That's how it works. And it definitely doesn't work when you hand that all over to the government.
Yep. Absolutely right.
Ain't rocket science, folks. It ain't rocket science. It works. It works, though. But then we've got folks like Sonny Hostins, who's, the only time I ever watch The View is when we pull these clips to talk to give you an opportunity to hear what some of these folks say. And, just as we just celebrated the 4th of July, the 250th birthday of these United States, there are people out there who just hate this country. And I wonder why they are still here, because they clearly hate this country. And there's this one woman on The View who just decided, for the second time she's done this, came out and just talked about how, well, she gets scared whenever she sees people flying the American flag because, I'll let you hear what she had to say in her own words.
And I said this on this show many, many years ago, because this is my 10th year on the show. And I said there are times when I walk into a community and I see American flags all over the community, and I suddenly feel unsafe because there is a section of this country that has co-opted the American flag, and they equate being an American or an American flag with white supremacy, and that should never be the symbol of white supremacy, but they have weaponized.
Because the flag belongs to all of us.
It does belong to all of us.
So what's funny is that people who fly the American flag, I fly the American flag, I don't see it as a symbol of white supremacy. I see it as a symbol as loving America. Now, my thing is, if she sees it as a sign of white supremacy, then what she's saying is she sees America as a symbol, as a nation of white supremacy.
Yeah, let's start off. Number one, she's an idiot. That's her big qualification.
Well, that's kind of a given. She's on The View.
But she's a race baiting victim is the role she plays. She clearly doesn't have the independent thought to come up with what to be an American is. All she has is what she's being fed by the other people on The View. That kind of media.
Well, what's funny is, I told you I was at last weekend. I was at the weekend before last. I was at NASCAR. And it was funny. You see all these folks out there with the American flag. And, I never once thought, okay, well, these are a bunch of right wingers. I just thought these are people that love America. Now, if they had the "Don't Tread on Me" flag, the Gadsden flag, then I kind of figured they were, or Trump 2024, 2028. Right. Then I knew they were conservative. But for the most part, I just assumed these are people. This is a sport. These are people who love the sport, are people who love America. Never entered my mind. Oh, yeah, white supremacy and racist, and I ought to be scared. Why should you be scared if someone is flying the American flag? Why do you feel you have to be scared unless you are just an idiot or you're trying to scare other people?
Again, they're going to find a way to be the victim. Got to find a way to be the victim.
Right. Wait, by the way, on a national TV show, right? Yeah. Here she is every day, Monday through Friday on a national TV show, gets a chance to express her views. I'm still wondering, when are they going to be arrested? Because according to them, Donald Trump was supposed to come arrest all of them. I thought they were all going to be locked up by now.
In the camps, right? Remember, they're going to be in the camps.
They're supposed to all be in the camps. Come on, Trump, where you at?
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
But we know they're liars. And then what's funny is that no one is saying, and no one is coming back and saying, yeah, none of our predictions have come true. Where y'all at? Where y'all at with your predictions? Why is nobody calling them on these predictions that these things that they claimed were supposed to happen that haven't happened? All these atrocities. Why aren't all the gay people supposed to be locked up and all the journalists?
Yep.
I'm waiting. Where you at?
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, but the doom and gloom that they continue to push, it continues to come out in multiple different ways, including, by the way, when it comes to their attack on the right to keep and bear arms. And our good friend, Mr. Tom Knighton over at Bearing Arms, actually has a very interesting piece where he talks about how Virginia's attempted assault weapons ban actually blew up in anti-gunners' face. It says here, Virginia rolled hard toward gun control this year. Never mind that Governor Abigail Spanberger ran as a moderate, said little to nothing about guns during her campaign, and she was about affordability, and then took office and did nothing about the cost of living. Instead, she tried to redistrict the state, something she expressly said she wouldn't do, and tried to take everyone's guns away. I was ready to hold on to Cam's guns for him if he needed it, but thankfully that hasn't been necessary. Part of the reason it's not is because of grandfather clauses, thankfully. But another part is that everything Spanberger tried has blown up in her face spectacularly. Her redistricting plan got smacked down by the state Supreme Court, for example, and then there have been her gun control efforts. Let's just say the National Shooting Sports Foundation's Laura Keene isn't exactly crying at the moment. This is what Larry Keene had to say. No one wants to be the "I told you so" guy, but here we are. We told you so. Virginia's Governor Abigail Spanberger and her gun control lackeys in the assembly rushed through a half-cooked unconstitutional ban on the sales of modern sporting rifles and other commonly owned firearms and standard capacity magazines. Once again, predictions of a rush to buy guns Virginians and the rest of America bore out. Background checks for the sale of a firearm in the Old Dominion shattered last year's records. And that's the point, I think, overall that Keene and both Knight are trying to make in this, is that, number one, your ban is going to get shot down. And not only that, but they're now setting records in terms of being able to buy these firearms. The very firearms you don't want people to have, they now own, and they own them in large numbers. Same thing with standard capacity magazines. They now own them in large numbers as you attempt to ban them. If nothing else, that is a sign, in this case in Virginia, that the people in Virginia do not support these bans.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, as we talked about earlier, you got Governor Spanberger here. She's a Democrat socialist. She's moving towards communism. It's what she wants. Craig, I don't know if you saw in one of the bills that they've got ready to go into law there as well this week. Part of one of the bills says that they're making it illegal for ICE agents to be within 40 feet of a polling place. Well, first off, that's unconstitutional. You can't tell the federal agents where they can and can't go. But if you're telling me that you only let U.S. citizens vote, that you don't let illegals vote, why do we need a law to keep ICE agents away from polling places?
There would be no ICE agents there. Well, part of it is that they're probably saying, well, they're just going to go after people of color, even though every single one of the raids that they've gone on have literally been, they're specifically looking for specific individuals who are not just illegal immigrants, but who also are also criminal illegals, meaning they already have an active order of deportation, or they've committed a crime while they're here and have an active order of deportation.
Yeah.
So that's who they go for. Now, if you happen to be there and you're here illegally, they're going to take you. But the best way to figure that one out is, how about this? When they show up, don't run, because running is a sure sign Well, it actually then gives them the right to actually stop you and question you because they can presume you're guilty or not guilty. They can presume you're doing something wrong. How about that?
Listen, if you want to be here, and I don't know how many times you got to cite these examples, you're illegal. You know what? Take advantage of the self-deport program. Get paid to go back there. Do the paperwork properly. Do you know how long it's taking? If you've got no other criminal charges pending against you, except you're an illegal immigrant, you got here illegally. If you leave, go do the paperwork. They're seeing your paperwork and letting you back in as quick as 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Wow. And that's the thing. The biggest thing about this whole issue is most of the issue is we don't know who's here. They haven't done any background checks on any of these folks. So we don't know what criminals are here until we get the data and the information, until we start digging in. So the point behind it is that then at least this way they get a chance to do a background check. They know you're here and they give you a chance to do it right.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway.
Absolutely.
All you gotta do, man, just do it right. Just do it right. Don't do it like Spain, though. Do not do it like Spain, because see, Spain, well, they are on President Trump's bad side. Trump made it very, very clear. He's done. He's dead. They're dead to me. Pretty much what the man said. Right
I didn't speak to Spain. Spain is a wasted cause. We don't want to do any trade business with Spain anymore, by the way. I'd like you to cut it off. Spain is a terrible partner in NATO. They don't participate. They don't pay. I don't want anything to do with Spain. Cut off all trade with Spain, please, including visits. Okay, we don't want anything to do.
Yeah, let's not let folks go over there. Let's not go over there. Let's not let them visit here. Probably though, should have thought about saying that before the World Cup. Made it so that they couldn't come over here. But yeah. Here's the thing. The reason why he's coming at him is they're the only country, the only partner within NATO that has refused to actually commit to, by 2035, contributing 5% of their GDP towards their own national defense, right? What he's trying to do is get European countries to be in a position where they can defend themselves and they're not as dependent on the United States to provide their national defense.
Yeah, it's this was great. Him coming down and making that decision, making that announcement. Spain just done. Listen, and he's a guy from New York. When a guy from New York tells you you're dead to me, you're dead to him. You're gonna have to get 2 lifetimes worth of apologies back in just for him to talk to you again. So this is going to put a little hurting on Spain and their neighbors, Portugal, France, and everybody else over there in Europe, because now they have to take up, defending the country.
Yeah, here's the thing. There's a reason why so many European countries are able to afford the lavish social welfare programs, the lavish social safety nets that they have. And that's because, for the most part, most of them don't pay for their own national defense. And we've been doing it. We've been the ones that have been providing it. And all he's saying is, that should not be the case. Especially when we do need you, when we do say, hey, we need your bases or we need you to work with us on something, and you say no. No.
Yep.
Why are we providing you? I mean, you act like you're doing us a favor letting us have a base there in your country. No, there's a base there because we're there to defend you.
That's right. That's it.
We could very easily just abandon that base, and y'all are on your own.
Yep.
Hey, Russia.
Yep. There you go. Here's your partner. Have at it.
There you go. It ain't rocket science, folks. It ain't right. I'm gonna keep saying that. It ain't that hard to figure it out, but kick in. That's all. I mean, that's all the president's asking. Kick in. Pay your fair share. It. Right? Y'all liberals y'all are good for asking people to pay their fair share. Tell them to pay their fair share.
Yep.
Anyway, moving right along. We're now to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Let's go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, one word, and get your Hog Holster today. All right, this first one here, Mike sent this one over, and I have to include this one. You might know that Mitch McConnell has been, he's been unavailable, shall we say. He's been in the hospital for about a week, and no one's really seen him, but there's been an initial sighting. And let me just say, it's a doozy. For those of you who are just listening to the program, that was Mitch McConnell doing the Thriller dance.
Listen,
in a hospital gown.
Yeah, I mean, just poor Mitch. From everything that I've been able to piece together, he's knocking on the door. He's knocking on the door right now. If he's not standing in the doorway, it's a shame to see him go. But listen, and I pat him on the back for his service. We've seen him having medical problems for the past 2-3 years. He's having strokes and seizures on TV. For crying out loud. Just take that time, go home, be with your family instead of ending this way.
Somebody should have convinced him a while ago it was time. Yeah. But anyway, it was funny, so I had to share it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what we're saying, folks, is he's a zombie now. He's now a zombie.
Pretty much. All right, this next one here. If there was a reason, an explanation about how to own guns, let me tell you something, or why you need to own guns, or why you need to buy more guns. You need to take some advice from someone who starts off by referring to you as Punkin.
Hey, Pumpkin. When people ask me why I continue to add to my firearms collection, the answer is simple. I am performing a community service. Duh. I mean, think about it. Every time I buy one, I'm taking one more off of the shelf, waiting for some mouth breather with Wi-Fi and bad ideas to come along. That's crime prevention. I mean, I'm a purveyor of public safety. I'm just trying to protect the community. Obviously, I don't need a cape, but I might need another gun safe. Toodaloo!
She's a pip.
She is a pip. She is hilarious. All right. Now, have you ever heard of a guy called Ripped Redneck? RippedRedneck.com.
I don't know.
Okay. This guy his comedy is very, very edgy when it comes to self-defense or home protection. Right. Tell me what you think.
Hey, bro. So when somebody breaks into your house, do you call 911 right away, or do you wait to see if you need them? Why would I call 911? You call 811. Why the fuck would you call 811, my guy? That's who you call before you dig a hole.
Yep.
I was wondering. Okay. Where's he going with this one?
That's how you do it.
Oh, this one. Now this next one. Now this is this is making fun of Gen Zers, but I do think that this would make a very, very interesting show to a degree. I don't know if I'd put them on an island, but definitely the tools that are given to them, I think would. I think Mike, you would find the show entertaining.
I would like to see a TV show, a series like Survivor, okay, where you put a bunch of 18-year-olds on a desert island, and they have to work together to get off the island. And you only give them 4 things. You give them an analog clock, a rotary phone, a paper map, and directions in cursive.
We'd never see them again.
We would never see them again.
Yep.
The one that got me was the directions in cursive.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
All right, folks. Well, hey, that brings us to the end of our program. But before we go, we're going to give one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep. Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Get on over there. They got AR barrels for you, rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire. Also have a full assortment of rifle barrels, shotgun barrels, pistol barrels for things besides ARs. So get on over there, check them out, hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, security, fire, law enforcement, EMS, personal gear, whatever it may be, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com, where you get everything except the gun.
Also, take a moment, please sign up for the 2A newsletter, 2anews.us. Get your daily dose of 2A News today. That's going to be it. Once again, we're done with today's program. We will be back tomorrow on Throat Punch Thursday. Till then, y'all have fun. Y'all stay safe. and we will see you mañana.